Hi everybody, I'm Joey. Well, in this video I'll be making a kind of an entertainment unit for a client, and interestingly I think they've decided to use a natural pine plywood, and it's actually a very cheap material here, slightly more expensive than MDF, but a heck of a lot cheaper than solid wood, and in the end managed to make it look quite nice, I think. And so I thought it would be an interesting project where if somebody wanted to make something like it, it can be done pretty affordably. Obviously it's not so cheap if you get someone like me to make it, because you've got to pay for my labor, but if you have a few tools and a little bit of know-how, then something like this would be pretty affordable. So anyway, I hope you like the video, and see you later. Right, so I can start by ripping my plywood sheets down and start making a carcass. Now I'm using a fancy edge bander, but you could either just sand the plywood edge and leave it exposed, or glue on some solid pine clashing, which is what I do later on. You'll see how I do that. So this is the base plinth which the whole unit will sit on. So it's just a very simple kind of little box. And when I attach the front, I actually put a double front on, so that way I can screw the little plinth together and then screw on the visual front that you'll actually see in from behind, and that way there's no screw holes visible or anything like that. And the plinth is just attached to the bottom of the carcass with these little brackets, and really they're only there to hold it in place while we're moving it about and getting it to site. Once everything's sitting in place, it kind of gets squished in by the weight of the cabinet, and then the back can go on. So this is the top of the base carcass unit, and it looks like it's a double thickness piece, but really it's just one piece of plywood with some packers on the bottom, because well, you don't need to use all that plywood, and I just use some offcuts as my packers, and then all that gets flipped upside down and sat on top of the carcass. First I just clean up the edge, and then I'm just gluing on some solid pine edging. This is just 40 by 10 mil off the shelf. It's sold as skirting or architrave, and it's a really easy, cheap edging if you're using pine anyway. And after that's dry, I can just clean up the edges with the plane, and that's that panel done. Just cutting now all the pieces for the vertical dividers in the upper unit. So all the dividers are double thickness, so 2 times 18 mil, so it's 36 mil thick. So I figured I'd just glue them all together instead of having to put screws or pins anywhere. So I made that little kind of notched glue spreader, which doesn't really work. So what I do is my pieces are cut oversized, I glue them, I pin them together at the very ends so they don't slide around when I clamp it, and then I'll cut them all to width and length after the edging is put on. And I'm just adding some edging to some of those pieces in the nice morning light in the workshop. And then cutting them to width and length. So the little shelf above the TV needs a little vertical attached to it. So I'm just going to screw right through, screw it together, and then plug the screw holes with some pine dowels, or actually pine plugs that I cut. And I'm just cutting the end panel, the main face panel that you're going to see of this unit, and I just have to cut a notch out of it to kind of step around the carcass. And I could start cutting the doors. So the centered door has a glass panel in it, which is a bit frosted, and you can shoot your TV remotes and things through that glass. So I'm just making up a quick pine frame, and then I domino it together and send it off to my glass guy to cut the piece of glass. So the client wanted adjustable shelving for all the shelving at the top of the unit. So I just had a scrap of aluminium laying around, which I cut kind of a little hole jig out of, which I could just hold on the corner of the shelf and drill all the holes, and they're all pretty much the same that way. After a good sanding, the whole unit gets 3 coats of this water-based polyurethane, which has kind of become my go-to finish at the moment. I really like how it goes on, and it dries super quick, and you can get a pretty nice finish from it. At the client's house now, and I needed to remove the skirting board, and the floor here had just been laid like 2 days before, so we're all in socks and trying not to scratch anything. You can see in the kind of top of where the door shuts is little grey things, a little push to open pistons, so don't need any handles for this unit, and it makes it look pretty cool. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you on the next one.